Hello again to all my friends. Today we're looking at chapter 1.6. The lesson is square roots. Now I know what you're thinking. Square roots, those don't exist. Roots are under the ground. We'll say this is the ground level. And say we've got a little tree. I don't have a good color for a tree. Well, I'll make our tree blue. Look at that. Blue tree with yellow leaves. Anyways, the roots go underneath, right? And they spread out so they can soak up water. If you've been in my science class, we've talked all about that. Now, I'm telling you that there are square roots in existence. You want to see? You don't believe me? Look at that! That is a square root. Bam. Bam. Anyways. Okay, let's get serious. Mr. Benjamin. Oh, I'm going to run out of space. There you go. Mr. Benjamin. Aha, smiley face. So, let's review. Yesterday's lesson was powers, not the Justin Bieber song that we listened to in class, or at least tried to. It is powers or exponents. Ooh. Technical difficulties, my apologies. I'll write it underneath. Exponents. So if we have a phrase like 3 to the power of 4, 3 to the power of 4, this number right here is our exponent. This number right here is our base. If we were to expand this value, we would have 3 multiplied by 3, multiplied by 3, multiplied by 3. And that would equal 81. But we could just as easily write that as 3 to the power of 4, which makes it a lot easier on us. Our learning goals for today. We are going to determine the square roots of perfect squares. Now, I've already shown you that square roots exist, if you don't believe me. Bam, there they are, see? Okay, it's more like a rectangle root, but still. Perfect squares, we don't know what that is yet, right? A perfect square is the product of a whole number multiplied by itself. So if we look at our example, 12 multiplied by 12. My highlighter isn't showing up. I got to change the color. Let's highlight in pink. Let's see if that'll work better. There you go. 12 multiplied by 12 gives us 144. The square root is a number that when multiplied by itself gives you the initial value that you were looking for. I know this all sounds confusing, but let's look back to our original number. 144. The square root of 144 equals 12. I'm sorry you can't see that underneath the dossary sign, but it's actually right here as well. 144 rooted is 12. So a perfect square, when you multiply that number by itself, you get that whole number. The square root, when you take that value and you root it, you get the square root. We're going to do some examples, and hopefully that'll clarify everything. Again, if you have questions, either comments on the video or in the classroom for my students. So let's do this example. This is what we're going to do by hand. The square root of 121. Now, it's not going to sound like the best approach to this, but I want you to think about what numbers you know that are around 100. If I think of the number 100, I know how to get there by multiplying. I can multiply 10 by 10. 10 by 10 gives us 100. I know that because I add the zeros, and it gives me 100. Now, I'm trying to think about other numbers that would work here. Obviously, 10 is too low. If I try 12, for example, 12 multiplied by 12, that gives me 144. So the square root of 121 is not 12. That does not equal. In between 10 and 11, or 10 and 12, we have 11. Let's try 11. If you multiply 11 by itself, you get 121. So therefore, we can say the square root of 121 is 11. We're going to do another example here. This time we're going to use a calculator. We want to find the square root of 225. Now, this is a much bigger number. We can, again, say that, okay, we know that 10 multiplied by 10 gives us 100. That's nowhere near enough. We're almost double that. We're over double that, right? So that's not going to cut it for us. We can continue to guess and check. We can try different numbers, or we can use our calculator. When we use our calculator, we want to look for a specific symbol. And I have a little friend here that's going to help me out to show you what the symbol is. His name is SpongeBob. SpongeBob's going to tell us that the symbol we're looking for on our calculator looks like that. And more often than not, you'll have an X here, maybe a Y here, maybe the letters are flipped or reversed, but they will either be there or not be there. But this symbol, this figure here, will definitely be there. So if you all look at your calculators, if you have your calculator on your phone, you can probably flip it to the side, and it'll be a scientific calculator, and it will be on there. If you find that value, you are going to press the value you're looking for. So in this case, it will be 225, and you hit that button. 225. Now, if you've all tried that, you should end up with 15. So the square root of 225 equals 15. We can now check this. We can check that value to make sure it's correct. We can say 15 multiplied by 15. If you punch that into your calculator, you should get 225. So this is all good. Give ourselves a check mark. Here is your try this for today. You have 300 square meters worth of material to cover your classroom floor. What is the biggest square you can make? So if this was your classroom, that's a bad spot to put that. I'm going to erase that and draw it else. Yeah, I got no choice. I got to put it here. Sorry. This was your classroom, and we had 300 square meters. What is the absolute biggest square you can make that you can cover up with all that material? Okay, give that a shot. As always, we say thank you for watching, and we hope you've learned something new today. Bye-bye.